Welcome to iHeartGeek.
And welcome to another episode of iHeartGeek.
The irreverent show of
irreverence.
And
irreverent behavior. Irreverent actions and irreverent
illogical.
It's Irreverent TV.
It is Irreverent TV.
We go after everyone.
Well, we are brought to you today by sneaking down to watch shows you wanted to as a kid and hoping your mom didn't catch you. We all remember that.
That's when you go to your friend's house.
What do you mean, remember?
Now it's your wife, I'm guessing.
I know.
But now what we do is we wonder what our kids are watching.
Oh, well, that was last episode.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit.
You know what? I don't even bother anymore.
No?
No. Because I know what I was watching when I was 9.
You're just preparing them for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's bad when you're thinking about, well, how did I turn out?
No, you turned out good.
Yeah, y'all good people. So, well, speaking of who are you? Who are you, sir?
My name is K-Brew.
Wow, I'm gonna get a lot out
Are
of you.
Are you like selling candy bars at the front door? Or what?
I feel like I should put you in a Keurig.
Yes. Oh God, I would
creamer.
love that. I would love that.
What? Selling candy bars?
No, I would love to be in a Keurig.
I have one. I love it.
Coffee's so good.
I got pizza.
I'm K-Brew and I love coffee.
Fair enough.
That wrong?
That's why
Keurigs are pretty awesome.
I have one.
Hello, everyone.
I
am your friendly neighborhood Codge.
Your friendly neighborhood? Like which neighborhood? This one?
The Rod.
Oh, God.
Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Sesame Street
It's a
neighborhood.
really weird, jazzy Lady Elaine Fairchild neighborhood.
I'm freaking in.
But it's fairly friendly.
Oh, dude, Lady
Are
Elaine.
you trying to seduce me?
It's a great neighborhood, but that music keeps going on. They can't shut it off.
Dude, did you ever see Lady Elaine Fairchild? That puppet gave me nightmares as a kid.
It was horrible.
Yeah, horrifying. Oh my God. I seriously, the first bad dream I remember was Lady Elaine Fairchild. But anyway, I digress.
Okay.
I love coffee.
So now that we're all getting our psychological evaluations, why don't you tell me about your mother there, PB and Jason?
She lives over on the east side. Yeah. And she, there was definitely some TV that I snuck and tried to watch that if she would have caught me, and she actually did catch me, that got my butt in trouble.
Okay, well, this is the first thing I want to ask everybody then, and we're going to start with you, Jason. What was the first show that you remember watching that you're like, I know I'm not supposed to be watching this, and you snuck it? What was the first one? Do you remember?
Soap.
Yeah.
Soap?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because the interesting thing about that is when I tried to watch as a kid and I got busted for doing it, but when I got to a certain age, that my dad turned around and said, now we can watch this. Because this is actually one of my favorite shows.
Fair enough.
And it ended up being like one of my favorite shows.
Nice.
So yeah. Soap.
My parents were pretty chilled about that. Like it was more movies than TV shows, like for me. And mine was like game shows, like Tic Tac Toe and Wheel of Fortune, because I'd have to go to bed early, and then I would just kind of try to like Solid Steak and like kind of sneak through Medical Solid and try to go through the wall and then try to watch it through like the small little like wide space or small little space that's in there, and then my father would turn around and see me and go, "What are you doing? Get back in bed!" And I have to run back into bed. But yeah, for the most part, like we didn't. I was actually a fraidy cat when I was. Yeah, there wasn't like that kind of stuff scared me, so I didn't really watch that much often. Yeah.
Well, you told that horrifying story about walking back into the wrong movie.
Right.
That's what did it for you.
What have we learned?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, Soap was one of those like Soap and was it Mary Hartman? Mary Hartman.
What?
There was a show. It seems to me like it was Mary Hartman. I don't know, some kind of 70s thing. But my parents were really cool. It was really, they were like when the Richard Pryor albums came out, or the George Carlin. They were like they watched us more of what we listened to than what we watched. Because even though Soap was kind of like an adult, or I never liked it.
No,
the appeal was never there for me. But the parents didn't want me to watch it, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
No, I had I can't remember the first, but I remember the biggest impact was probably Married with Children when that came out.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, ooh, I know I'm not supposed to be watching this. I'm definitely going to get in trouble for this one. And then Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yeah.
I remember sneaking that. I watched the movie. My friend Skeeter would come over and we'd sneak it into the video. We'd watch it when after my parents went to bed and like, oh, is he really saying that?
One of the coolest things that I remember in, my cassette tape habit, I got busted on a few things, but I had the Eddie Murphy Raw and the Delirious and the first one even.
So you pirated it.
Oh yeah, pirated. Oh, I pirated all kind. I had a freaking eye patch and a peg leg. That's how much of a pirate I was.
Oh, wow.
In those
That's
early
out freaking standing.
in those early days, and I had George Carlin and all that stuff. That if I would have been caught with that, I'd still be grounded. I wouldn't even.
You wouldn't have gotten married.
Yeah,
huh?
I wouldn't be doing this show because I'd be in trouble in my room.
Fair enough.
He would be in the clergy.
I'm just trying to think. A Critchfield, like if you're listening to this, like chime in on the Facebook page, even if it's like a while, like a couple of days after this. But like, was there anything that we actually watched that we could have gotten in trouble for? I remember like when you were talking about Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious and stuff. I think me and him both watched that. But I remember like spending the night at his house a couple of times, and there was like some movies that we weren't supposed to watch. I remember us doing some some stealth like co-op Black Ops type of thing, just try to make sure we didn't get in trouble.
But is he even going to hear this? Isn't he out there building trees?
He's in the
Fortress.
wilderness, but when he comes back,
Oh,
I think he's like halfway done.
Eating
He's almost
bugs.
done.
Dude, and you rock, man.
Oh,
Keep
he
on
does.
going.
He is absolutely the
Yes.
baddest individual
Ooh,
I know.
We need to do a Wilderness Geek episode.
He would be the wilderness geek of geeks. Absolutely.
He will make a basket, but nobody else will see it because it's a podcast.
But we all get to keep them and paint them with iHeartGeek symbols everywhere. Because with I named the geek contest, whatever the
Right. So
Right.
Dub,
his name, yes.
what was the TV
Married
show?
with Children was a big one.
Did you get busted for it though?
Yes.
How old were you when that came out?
I don't remember.
Because your age, like my age, because when Married with Children came out, I was old enough to be like.
Well, it came out in '87. So
Yeah, that's right about that. I was 9.
God, I feel so old.
God, I'm old. I was 13. so yeah, like
Are we the oldest
my parents
ones here?
watched it
Yes,
with this.
yes, by far.
Yeah, me.
By far.
Oh my God.
I got him by 2 years.
And then I
Yeah, a
remember.
year and a half.
I remember my parents didn't want me watching WKRP for whatever reason. I think it
Oh,
was,
Oh no, I know why. Lonnie Anderson. That's why.
Right.
I never noticed that as a kid.
No.
Dub hit puberty at 7.
that made you hit puberty really fast. But yeah, that's probably the first one was WKRP, and I remember sneaking, and I didn't get why anything was wrong with it because I was young enough. I didn't get it.
Right.
Because they were.
It was all a very special episode to me.
Yeah.
so-
There was one. Did you see the one when Johnny Fever and Venus Flytrap were drinking, and they're like showing how your reflexes got slower?
No.
I don't think I remember that episode.
Oh, dude, they're like Johnny Fever was like just maintaining the whole time, and his reflexes were just so fast. And Venus was just going crazy. Whatever.
Nice.
You should watch it.
Well, let's start with Married with Children, and I want to start with Married with Children because it seemed like that was kind of the launching point for the modern era of irreverent TV. I mean, there was the Lear stuff before that.
Oh, we're talking about Irreverent TV?
Right.
Yes. Oh man,
Oh, I was like talking about
You're
Little
so
House.
old.
All my shows are Little House on the Prairie.
That's still relevant. Shut up.
TV shows I just didn't care for.
But I think that's the modern era.
Yeah, can I say, we said this earlier, and I still think it's true, even though there was maybe a 6-month difference. The Simpsons goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year difference.
It was a 2-year.
Yeah, it's
Married with Children 2 years before?
Married with Children came out in '87.
The Simpsons like
and
89,
Simpsons came
right?
out December of
then,
'89.
Then definitely.
Yeah, well, and
Married with Children.
before you hit Simpsons, you got to hit Tracy Ullman. That was pretty
Oh, yeah.
irreverent.
Yeah, true.
You know, that was pretty filthy,
remember her-
actually. Come to
Yeah.
think of it. And they had those little vignettes of The Simpsons when they first started. But I think that the mother of them all was Married with Children. It had, the ultimate pig type male It had the sex bomb girl. It had the sex starved wife, and it had the complete just tool of a little brother. It was every stereotype now that people would use to be.
And they were not in a happy marriage. It's not even like
Right.
Roseanne, where even though that show had some irreverence, they were still in kind of a happy, overall happy marriage. They were not really very in love. Peg and
No, I wouldn't disagree. I would agree with that. I think that if they weren't in love, that show could not have succeeded.
Yeah.
But there was always love underneath it all. It's just all the crap, because everybody knows it. All the crap in life is what is the entertaining part.
well, yeah, that's true. True.
But that really did set, I think, the fingerprint for how far can you push it on TV. Because, I mean,
Did that set the fingerprint for like the disobedient kids?
No.
Disobedient kids. Look at the little, like, our gang and the little.
But to that degree.
No, to the more modern way though.
But I mean,
They were definitely drinking underage. They were having sex. And it was blatant.
Right, but I mean,
But that didn't happen before. I mean, they had, Alex P. Keaton had took speed pills once because he had to study.
Well, there was that special episode of Different Strokes.
Right.
Well, it was before this. Well, you take all the special episodes out, and those would have been terrible. On a very special episode, Dudley. Oh, no, Dudley, don't
The
go
last
with
episode,
him.
poor
That's
Dudley.
terrible.
You don't need a bike.
But everybody thought that was too far, and to today's standards, that's kind of family TV.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Have we hit that point that's standard?
I think it was representing the era, the stereotypes of the era that it was coming out of from '87, like with grunge kind of coming up into it, and like rock and roll, like
hair metal area,
hair metal and stuff like that in there, and
Poison.
they were just kind
Let me
of
ask you this,
crazy
though, 'cause
rock and roll.
How long did when did Married with Children?
Like 12 years.
yeah.
Forever.
Right.
It lasted from the hair metal into grunge.
The kids grew up on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, because Kelly Bundy kind of personified like that whole groupie, like the hair, the butt rock
Right.
chick,
Right.
And then like butt rock, like the whole hair metal thing went away, and then she kind of changed.
But towards the end of the show, they did. I think the best thing, they let her grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, and what I love more than anything is towards the end of the show, she became Al.
Yeah, really.
She would go to work every day. She'd sit down on the couch, put her hand down her pants, and like, the typical Al Bundy thing.
Right.
And I like that they made her grow up. I'm like, see, you can party all you want, but you got to pay for it eventually.
Right.
Catches up.
And that was the closest to morality you could have ever gotten on that show.
So it was the show that really pushed the blatant.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that was like just. And there's
But
not
see,
a
now
whole lot.
after that, it became okay. I mean, they were protested by every Christian group, by every feminist
morality group,
by every
yeah.
morality group, by everything, and that's what made it so good. If they would have had the protests, I don't think they would have made it.
That totally works in favor.
They would
time.
have been 2 seasons tops. But the characters. But what they did, I mean, it was irreverent, yes, but it also had the characters that you fell in love with, and that's honestly the magic of the irreverent TV shows. Because if they don't have those characters that you love, they go away, and that's why I respect Married with Children, because they set the bar for it.
But you know what, though, it was well written.
It was very well.
You know what I'm talking
the
about?
Characters were.
it was good. There were
It was
good jokes.
cheeseball, and
Yeah.
it was masochistic, and everything else we like to talk about.
A satire of the
complete
time.
satire. Yeah, but but they didn't label themselves as that, and that was maybe it's a different time, but
Oh well, yeah. I mean, Married with Children would never be able to fly in this day and age. It would
be tame.
It would be.
I think a lot of people would be offended by it now too. Like even worse than back then too. But do you think? How do you feel about Modern Family then? Is that kind of almost like an evolution, like kind of a
almost?
Yeah,
like,
almost.
I mean, because even like oh god, I can't think.
There's
of his name.
more love to it,
Al
though.
Bundy is in Modern Family.
Ed
O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who's
Sorry.
a brilliant actor. By
Sorry, Ed O'Neill.
If you're listening, Ed.
he kind of actually like almost took the Al Bundy role, but it was like now he's older, more like that's. he's not
Al
as
Bundy, if he was actually a successful.
yeah
guy.
like a what if
Yeah.
like kind of turn the tables on it a little.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So but that's why I like to give a little credit to the modern era. We're gonna hit some of the earlier stuff, but that's kind of I think where we're gonna be kind of basing our launching point for a lot of things I'm going to be talking about.
Sure.
Anyway today. So and with that we're gonna jump off real quick, and we got a word from our buddy Carrie. We got a little commercial from her.
Love anything and everything nerdy? Looking for a new podcast? Look no further than Dice Tales. Dice Tales is a live Dungeons & Dragons show which performs in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was started as a one-shot fundraiser for Dog Story Theater, the local theater at which the show is performed. The resounding success of that first night led the group to want to perform more, and now, over a year later, they are still performing and have begun a podcast of the same name. So, follow adventurers Liz Brand, Chuck Fortenbacher, Ross Johnson, Carrie Schultens, Brad Seitzma, and their GM Brooke Heinz as they embark on epic quests, forge new alliances, and foil the most vile of villains on Dice Tales. Check us out on Facebook at Dice Tales Live and download the Dice Tales podcast on iTunes today. Dice Tales would like to thank our sponsors, Gaming Paper, Character Case, and Sirenscape for their continued support, as well as, of course, iHeartGeek.
Okay, so here's my question really to start off everything, and this is kind of important. How far is too far? Like we just talked Married with Children. That was as far as you could have possibly went then.
Let me say the first time that I ever felt that very thought would be South Park. That was the very first time and it was actually this guy across the table who him and Monica at the time, his wife now, who took me and my wife and sat us down in the middle of, I think it was my living room floor, and said, "You got this. We have to watch this."
And it sounds like some weird cult.
It was very cultish. There was like chickens and virgins, but besides that,
we're not talking about you.
They were chicken lovers.
Chicken lovers.
Once again, Jason.
No, but we chicken is really good. Shut up. No, but he sat me down and he's like, "You got to watch this," and it was the very first time, those first 5 episodes, where I was like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
How are they getting away with this? And so that was the first one for me for sure. Because The Simpsons never did that to me.
But at the same time, a lot of people, that was the line right there.
Sure.
That was beyond the line.
Agreed.
I would even say that, and it's in one of my top 5, that there was a time when Family Guy kind of, to me, like in its beginning seasons, it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. But there was a point where Fox was about to cancel it, so Seth MacFarlane was like, "Let's see how far we can push this." And Quagmire's sister, that episode where she had a boyfriend or a fiance that was beating her up and abusing her.
Yeah.
And the ending, I won't say what the ending was of that, but that I remember watching that episode in particular and be like, that's too far. Like that was not funny in any way, shape, or form. That was morbid. I didn't like that.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You know where I think the line is, and this is, I mean, it's a constantly shifting line, but the line is the minute that a show gets big enough that they can do what they want, and they say, "Okay, let's see how far we can push this." That's when it's too far. Always. I don't think it ever. Big Mouth started that way. Love that show. It's terrible, but it is way beyond the line.
No, it's so well written that I can't call it terrible. It's vulgar, but I can't.
But you know what?
I'm not gonna lie. That's on my top 5. But it's fantastic. But
I think that, to me, it all boils down to writing, and that's where I think Family Guy kind of lost me, because
the writing wasn't as good.
The writing just started to fade.
What's to be good.
But The Simpsons, The Simpsons and SNL, like people like always talk about how they used to be good. I still think that they're still really good episodes of SNL and The Simpsons. That right. It kind of ebbs and flows. Well, but
Do you know what the best episodes of Saturday Night Live is, no matter who you are? When you were 14 through 17. Those are the best episodes.
Yeah.
No matter what age you are now,
what age, yeah.
when you're 14 to 17, those were the best episodes of Saturday Night Live. Every other season sucks. Every other cast sucks.
You know, because I sat through and watched some of the original SNLs, right?
They're okay.
There were some really funny things. But then it's kind of like, wow, this sketch really sucks. I mean, it was
ones that we call classics now.
Yeah,
Right.
but like the classics are great, and then they had like you said, they had just crappy. You know, it's just like now. It's like sometimes it's really funny, and sometimes it's like.
But the Chris Rock, for me, the Chris Rock, Phil Hartman, that era,
Phil Hartman's great though.
that whole era, they can do no wrong.
My era was a little before that, from the Eddie Murphy, Billy Crystal, Christopher
Dan
Guest.
Aykroyd.
But yes,
No.
Oh, so I even like,
But you
like Dan
see
Aykroyd
misses
and
in the
Bill
ones
Murray
that I
and-
did. I don't.
You see what?
I bet you see misses in my cast, the one that I think is great.
They were a great cast.
They were great, but
they were.
you see things that you definitely don't like.
No, the Phil Hartman cast.
That Phil, there is.
I mean,
no,
they're, again,
there
really,
is
they
no.
were great.
But
Yeah.
the Phil Hartman cast, that was really the end of your era too. And
Yeah.
that's when this switch with the Chris
Well,
Rock.
no, but you know what? Yeah, okay.
Adam Sandler.
Let's go back. You talk about Irreverent TV. When did it start? You know what? I would argue that it was started with Saturday Night Live. Not as you know. I mean, as far as like how far can you push something? They pushed a lot.
They did.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
you
Again,
know
but not in a sitcom kind of way.
but
in
let
a
me,
satire kind of way.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's-
let me give you when. I don't think they tried to. I think they were where they wanted to be. They took it too far when they did. I think what was that, Fridays?
Yeah, Fridays. Yeah, but again,
The one with the very infamous Adam,
Michael
or
Richards.
yeah, Michael Richards.
Yeah.
And they had that Andy whatever his name is.
Samberg?
No.
Andy
Kaufman?
Kaufman. When they had his, the weed stuff and all that, that they were trying to be edgy at that point, and that's why that was never as good.
Yeah, like when you're
They're trying to push the
when
line.
you're trying to push the limits, when it's like when you have like an internal logic to like a sketch or to a show, and you follow that logic, it usually is you're way better served than when it's kind of like the whole randomness of like,
yes.
wouldn't it be great if some kind of like, to me, like I said, right in a Family Guy episode is like, hey, we're sitting around and like, we're sitting around talking this podcast, and all of a sudden it's like, it was kind of like that time when Chewbacca was in the cantina and Bill Clinton walked in with a saxophone, and then they would show that. It's like, what does this have to do with
anything?
You know what I'm talking? And that's to me like Family Guy kind of.
Yeah, and that's like I just like the reason why I like those was because it just reminiscent. Because normally they would go back to something, they would do a reference of a TV show back in the
Just
day,
a lot of non
And then-
sequiturs,
and
yeah.
and
The
then
thing
it
is,
would
though-
just be funny about it. But yeah, once as the show has progressed, I've seen it kind of it's lost its kind of shine or sparkle.
Well, the thing is, though, there's a trap. It's a trap in these shows, because if the show is about pushing the envelope, once you push that envelope to a certain point, people start going, okay, what now?
Well,
what next?
But because
That is a problem.
Well, the censor, like it's all about the censors. I mean, like when back in the day with Monty Python, when you look at them, they got. I mean, granted, it was England and stuff like that, but they could, like, there was a skit about Prince getting cancer, right? But they couldn't say cancer, so they had to substitute gangrene for it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, and it was a really bad dub.
And it was all
like,
very silly.
yeah,
Right.
But again, Python skit had a logic that it followed, even though it was kind of irreverent. They kind of like went from point A to point B to point
They
C.
never went too far.
Maybe.
Well, religiously, maybe.
Yeah.
The demand for them to go farther might not have been there.
But again, it was like all about the writing. It was all. I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Oh no worries. No, finish your sentence.
Yeah, but it was all about good writing with Python, and like when they went too far with in their movie and Meaning of Life, it wasn't as good.
Nope.
At all.
I think this kind of segues into my point that I wanted to bring up is that it's once they start getting personal, Like especially like I'll just take for SNL's purposes. Like they might do something about a president. I won't say current, but like a president, and they'll kind of spoof the president, and it's a little bit wacky, but they'll make it a little bit zany. They'll make it kind of a little bit ridiculous. But if they were to do that same skit and actually put, like you were saying with the prince with cancer, like if they actually put like a real life scenario in there, it would lose me. Like it's not funny anymore if they take it too personal.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I'm sorry.
No. That's
reading like with Python when they wrote sketches, they never used names because for them, politician is always politician.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, and that's what we're Saturday Night Live. When you look at Saturday Night Live, and particularly Weekend Update, none of that stuff holds up at all because you're talking about topical stuff that
dates it automatically.
It dates it automatically. Where Python, you could watch it today and
it's still relevant.
Yeah.
By the way, Dub, watching these two apologize to each other is so touching.
It's like Canadian.
It's like beautiful.
Are we in Canada?
I love
sorry.
It.
Sorry.
So touching.
Sorry.
Hey,
It's your turn.
You go. Hey.
Okay. Now, what I want to kind of move on to a little bit is kind of the move to being irreverent in animation. Anything that's animated now that's on past 7 o'clock is going to be incredibly irreverent. You know, I mean, we've talked Simpsons, Family Guy.
My favorite. Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Oh
Anything.
my gosh.
All animation now is what I don't like. I mean, some of it can be very well written, and if it's not, it's just a bunch of dirty jokes. And
Yeah.
And that we see a lot of that.
And we can get away with that though. Like the FCC
You can get so much farther.
They don't. If you were to do that as a live action, there'd be protests and rioting in the street. But since it's a cartoon, they kind of get away with that.
It's also good in a way though because with the field getting bigger and bigger, and more shows competing for your viewing time, the writing has to get better. And that's one of those things that I actually appreciate about it because you had mentioned Big Mouth.
Yeah.
I would, now we already know that I've ruined my daughter letting her watch Attack on Titan. My wife and I have talked about it, and we would probably let her watch Big Mouth because she's 13.
Well, but she lives with Big Mouth.
She does. But there is such good writing in that show, such real, believable things that a 13-year-old girl would be like, yeah.
I think it should be played in every sex ed class, honestly.
Yeah?
I think once you hit about 12 to 13, you should have your kids watch it because it doesn't pull any punches. It's
honestly what they're talking about when they're away from us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, here's my issue with the animation, with them pushing the envelope on it, is we have a lot of people in this country, and I'm sure it's none of our listeners, but parents that aren't parents. So they don't monitor what their kids are watching at all. And the young kids are seeing a bunch of shows that they really shouldn't be.
Shut up!
For.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm not.
But
kids
you're
are
there
gonna watch
to
what
give
kids
them
are gonna watch.
context.
Yeah.
You're there to kind of like if they wanted to discuss things, then
and
you
I'm
put
not
it in
saying bad on
perspective.
anybody.
No, I'm kidding.
But there's a point that you need to watch what your kids are seeing, and these animation, it's too easy for a 6-7-year-old to latch onto this. It's easy. And that's my problem with the animation pushing the envelope. I enjoy it as an adult, but animation's it's bright colors. It's what stimulates a kid.
But then again, though, you gotta kind of figure the time of night that these things come on too. You know what I'm talking about? I mean,
Well, but with the advent of Hulu,
with the streaming
Netflix,
stuff, that kind of does.
But I mean,
True.
But yeah, you gotta.
I mean, you obviously should be monitoring what your kids are watching.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So what do you find more rewarding? Getting caught for a show that you shouldn't have been watching, or catching your kids watching it?
I'm disappointed when I catch my kids watching something. No, it's not rewarding. I feel bad. I'm
You're like, what are you doing?
It's only happened, like I said, with the two shows with Rick and Morty and
But again, like I said,
so I was shocked.
Like I said, for me, like I know what I was doing when I was 8. You know, we were watching Animal House. We were watching Revenge of the Nerds. You know, all of this stuff that is, I don't have a problem with my kids watching that because, again,
But you also are very communicative with them.
I talk to them all
and
the
that's
time.
part of it.
Right.
So that is the key.
And I'm sure, like in today's day and age, like you said, they can stream on their phones. They
Yeah.
can stream on their iPhones, and their friends are going to be talking about it. It's more of like the parent being like, okay, you're watching this. Let me put it into context. Let me, if you communicate with your kid about it, then it's.
And I'll sit there and all right, this is okay. Bad parenting. I'll sit there and watch like
this isn't a judgment.
Oh, I
on
know.
anybody.
No, I mean, but again,
they feel guilty.
I'll
about
sit
this.
there. I'll sit there and I like let my kid watch Bigger, Longer, Uncut. Like,
Okay.
and he's 11.
That's a
11.
musical too. That's
I
amazing.
know. Well, but what is hilarious is like I'll like look at him like on certain parts, and then I'll see him like look away, just like all embarrassed. And I think it's like because like like when Kenny's going to heaven and you've got all like the naked.
Yeah,
he was
metallic.
he was like so embarrassed, but like laughing like and you know what? It's like kind of like an innocent thing. It's like I mean. Whatever, but
No, that's as I said. I think that the key is okay. Yeah, they're going to watch things.
yeah, I had kids. I mean, honestly, we had kids just so I would have like constant entertainment. So
Right.
But yeah, so if you don't like live in a state of ignorance about what your kids are doing, yeah, then obviously it could be okay.
Well, how I've always done it. This is I have 3 kids, and when they turned 11. You're monitoring what they watch and all that, but when they hit 11, I take them to see their first R-rated movie, and that's like the stepstone. And once they hit that point, I'm saying, you know what? I trust what you're gonna watch. I'm gonna let you watch.
and it's always
things.
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Yeah, there's nothing more embarrassing than watching Conan with my oldest son.
It's always Blue Lagoon.
Oh, there's a lot of boobs in this.
It's Blue Lagoon.
But there's that
I mean, they're
point.
close to that.
It's usually a violent movie. Let's be honest, because that's what they want to see.
And also much more tolerated for some reason in our society.
Yeah. Kids fight, I guess. But you give them kind of stepping stones. They know that when they hit this point, they can watch stuff like that. And that's kind of how we've always done it. And I'm not saying that's right with that's wrong, but or even that the ages are correct for us. But that's kind of how I feel like you need to kind of set standards for your kids. Like, okay, and an age might not mean the same thing for a 12-year-old boy as it does for a 12-year-old girl. A girl might mature a lot
Absolutely
faster.
not.
And I'm going to be honest with you. You want to know the big one that scares me? The big one that scares me is when are they going to see their first X-rated movie? That's the one where I'm like, okay,
Dude.
now how am I going to deal with this one?
Let's tread lightly on this.
Okay, let's tread lightly,
but,
sure.
But think about this. What was the age that you found something for the first time?
That's what.
And then it's uncomfortable to talk about your kids
I would
being
say,
that age.
I don't know if I was a little late or not, but I would say around 14.
Yeah,
to be
you know.
honest.
Hey, let me.
Me too.
Can I do a quick story?
No,
Yes.
probably 12.
My friend growing up brought over a tape, an illicit, starring us, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a blank VHS tape. Didn't have any markings on
course.
it.
And you found it in the forest.
Nope. We lost it. We lost it, right?
Oh no.
So and it was
me see where
months.
this
It
is
was
going.
months. And my dad had a recording of Zulu Dawn that he would always watch.
Oh.
And one night he would go watch Zulu Dawn and got an eyeful and we're like, oh, there it is.
I have heard the story. Yes,
I was like,
that's
oh
awesome.
boy.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I asked you at the time, I'm like, why wasn't his Zulu Dawn marked?
Because it was the only copy in the house.
That's right. That's
I had
true.
no idea, but yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's move on. Let's jump out of this pit of despair and let's go. Let's hit some
This-
listener feedback.
Okay.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, so we got some stuff today from Twitter. We got some stuff from Facebook. We're still not getting anything from Instagram yet, but I should probably start putting the polls on there. I don't know. We'll see. Courtney,
I just liked something on Instagram, like while we were sitting here.
I'm impressed.
Whoever's posted the Lord of the Rings
That was Courtney. She does our Instagram.
awesome.
And she's awesome for it. Sorry, Siege, your Miss Geeky page. Which
Geeky page.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're doing an awesome job
It
on
was.
that.
I was like, wow.
I hope you're enjoying your vacation.
Well,
When
she's back now.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
What's-
When this is up. This
Time
is-
travel.
Oh, yeah.
Time traveling.
Yeah, she is back already.
Oh, so we can talk about the hockey trains.
Yeah, let's not do that because I'm gonna piss a few people off on that listen to us. So, we asked our people our favorite irreverent TV show ever. As always, the more you tell us why you like something, the better chance you have of getting it on air. So we're gonna start with number 1, which is our buddy Chris, the Green Korean. He said Happy. It was a show that was so unpredictable as it was funny. It also may have included the best Anne Margaret dance sequence ever, and I have to agree, that was the best.
It's on my watch list. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
have
so... I love it. It's horrible. It makes you feel ways about things that you don't know why, and you're uncomfortable, but it's incredible at the same time. Okay, and then the next one will be our buddy Dino. It's a great question. Falls right in line with the podcast episode 16. That's the kind of stuff that I do on other people's shows too. I'd have to say Lucifer. That's a good one.
All right. Danielle Ariana, my movie boo, has Charmed. Enough said.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Our buddy Catherine Winston, the writer type.
Making me a rock.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. She's making me a
Hey,
rock.
Kat, we have a brilliant idea for you. Here's a challenge. I want you to have a rock with a picture of the Rock on it, with a Rocky shirt on, holding a rock.
Rocking out.
Rocking
In a
out.
rocking chair.
That's
In a
kind of
rocking-
amazing.
In a rocking chair.
Okay.
No, let's do one thing for her though,
Okay.
because I know that she is trying to get on a TV show. So
Yes.
let's all wish her luck.
Yeah,
Yes,
good luck.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Give her some positive vibes. Hopefully
Yeah,
she makes
if she posts on our page, hopefully everyone goes wherever she needs to go so she can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, she said Sabrina and Lucifer. Sabrina because of the religious ties make her laugh, and Lucifer, well, because
Yes,
it was
it's
Lucifer.
the devil.
Let me just say about Sabrina real quick. Now, you want to talk about
I
a
love
show
the first
that-
season, didn't like the second.
a show that's trying a little too hard.
Uh-huh.
And
That's
I mean,
what
it's
I'm
not terrible show, but it's trying a little too
You're not
hard.
talking about that 70s?
No,
No.
No,
the
no.
newer Sabrina, the teenage witch,
Make it a
Church
little
of
darker.
Satan.
Yeah, the
stuff.
second season was
Nah,
really, I didn't like it.
completely
First
making
season I
that
thought
up.
was
okay.
pretty well done.
Okay.
Okay, Europe.
Daniel Houston says Seinfeld for it being a self-proclaimed show about nothing. It was one of the most hilarious sitcoms ever made. Larry David asked, "What do you like about the characters?" His response, "You don't."
That's pretty dark.
But you know what? Can I interject?
Absolutely.
Like there's irreverent TV because like to me Seinfeld, Friends, not kind of
Not the
border.
most- but you know what? If he finds it irreverent,
Yeah, yeah,
that's kind of what
absolutely,
Melissa feedback's
absolutely.
about. But
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd consider that. I wouldn't have considered
Seinfeld,
that.
absolutely.
Really?
Seinfeld, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh
Yeah,
well,
I
the
mean-
bet episode.
Oh
maybe,
God!
that
Everything
waved it
with
over.
George Costanza. 90% of George Costanza
Okay.
on that show.
But you know
Okay.
what? But you know what?
You've convinced me.
On close inspection, irreverent. But I don't consider it irreverent. You know
That
what I'm
did pop
talking
to
about?
the top of your list.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Okay. Anyway,
The voice of the show, Todd Harvey, said Ren and Stimpy, surrealism at its best and well before SpongeBob.
no.
Scott Skeen said South Park in the early seasons.
I agree on that.
I
one.
agree with Scott on that one.
I think still even up to now, but yeah.
No,
South
no,
Park,
sure.
Yeah.
But they got into a place though where they started having to like, what next? You've given us a Christmas poo. What else can you give us?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm afraid of
Absolutely.
what comes next. My buddy Skeeter Thompson, Married with Children, Benny Hill, and
Oh, that was one of my guys. Yes.
1990s Saturday Night Live, and Parker Lewis Can't Lose. These are
Wow,
this is
that's
stuff
a
we all
blast
watched
from the
together
past.
growing
Oh my
up.
gosh.
Nice.
Tyler Romaine, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Tyler Romaine said The Simpsons because it holds a special place in my childhood for being one of the first pieces of entertainment to kickstart my love and use of dark humor.
Nice.
Sure.
The Black Geek himself, Carl.
Coral.
I know, Jason
Please
loves
stop
that.
doing that.
I'll never stop
Forever.
doing that. No. Said, okay, I'm old.
Yes,
Mine
you
was
are.
Benny Hill. If you watched that in your youth, you know why.
Right.
That's for the song.
Yakety sax is great.
Yes, Yakety Sax is awesome.
Christina Belden for sci-fi, supernatural, all the way. God is a bored writer. So many moments that offended the ultra-conservative, and then they wrap it up with a warped bow of humor, cynicism, and the macabre. It's freaking brilliant. Plus, the Scooby episode where Dean desperately wants to boff Daphne. Every time I rewatch it, I laugh my off.
Nice. That's not very
That sounds like a
family-friendly,
review.
Christina.
Actually, that episode was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Oh, she also said Lucifer and the Tick are pretty stinking hilariously irreverent too. And, of course, hello.
Yeah, The Tick is such a good show. So 2 seasons, so awesome.
All right, Dave Marsh says the original Battlestar Galactica.
Dave.
You know, I've never watched more than 2 episodes of the original, so I can't say, but that didn't seem irreverent to me.
Well, maybe if
I
he
gotta
was a
think on that.
kid, maybe it was.
Maybe he wasn't allowed to watch
felt,
that.
Yeah, he felt it was kind of naughty to watch kind of an adult
Fair
show.
enough.
Maybe.
Okay, and the last one is my wife, Jen McGowan, and this is one I didn't think of, but yeah, I Love Lucy. Now, at the top, you don't think about it, but look at the time.
No, absolutely.
It was
absolutely.
a strong female that told off her husband all the time, married a Cuban guy, a white girl married a Cuban guy.
Pregnant on TV?
Pregnant on TV. They slept in the same bed.
What?
Yeah, she did not do what her husband told her, ever.
But funny.
That was pretty, at the time,
but again,
that was pushing some boundaries.
My mom loves I Love Lucy, and she'll go, but it still is funny today.
Absolutely.
Just,
Yeah, it
again,
is.
and it boils down to writing. Again, when you look at those shows that hold up, it's the writing was there. And the
Well,
shows
her and Desi were brilliant writers.
right.
And I know there's other writers involved, but I know they were the head of it, and they were brilliant.
Absolutely.
You know, and they lost a lot of the magic when her and Desi got divorced. I mean, it wasn't, and she did her own show, and it wasn't the same anymore.
Right.
Okay, and thank you everybody for submitting. Keep it up, guys. You guys are awesome. You make the show a million times better.
Oh, you're talking to Jason, right?
No, I'm talking to the listeners.
not
You were
me.
looking at Jay when you're PB&J.
He's always sneaking looks. That just
I know.
happens. But
It's because you're sexy. You're losing all that weight.
I'm telling you, next month they're going to be picking out curtains.
We already did.
Oh,
they're right here.
And let's move on to the main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, on this main event, we did our top 5 favorite, most groundbreaking, irreverent TV shows.
That was a long echo. I like
wasn't
that.
it?
Yeah, that was sweet.
Okay, so yeah,
Was that a lexicon?
no, that was a dubtastic.
Oh, sweet.
Mark 7. My number 5 would be one that I was bad-mouthing earlier, but it's still so well-written and so entertaining. For all the reasons we said earlier, Big Mouth.
Yeah, great show.
Yeah, way over the line on so many levels, but...
Are you going through changes, Dub?
Oh, bow.
So I was like grooving on the Sabbath. I'm trying to. You know what? I'm gonna go because it's kind of like a newer thing. My number 5 is Life's Too Short, and if you haven't watched that, you need to watch.
Tell us a little about that.
Yes, because we don't know about it.
It is Warwick Davis playing Warwick Davis in a Ricky Gervais.
And everybody on this show better know who Warwick
Yeah,
Davis is.
absolutely.
Yes.
But he's trying, he's trying to get Willow 2 made.
Okay.
And there's an episode where Val Kilmer comes on and he keeps putting on the Batman mask and people don't know what who he is. Dude, it's like he's like Val Kilmer plays like this really bizarre version of Val Kilmer, and like he's like, oh, people love this, and he'll like put the mask on, and Warwick's like talking to the secretary. He's like, guess who this is? She's like, it's Batman. It's like, yeah, but guess who's underneath Batman? She's like, George Clooney. I love George Clooney. She guessed every Batman but
him.
Val Kilmer. Yeah.
Including Christian Bale?
Yeah, she's like, is it Adam West? It's like, no, it's not bloody. and then she got Christian Bale. She went through everything, and it's like stuff like that just takes the, it really I guess really well written, because I think Ricky Gervais writes really.
It's one of those things that takes reality
and warps
reality,
and really in a
so
really good.
awesome.
Like he's like arguing with Sting, like man, like Johnny Depp's on there, and he hires Warwick to study him.
Yeah,
because he's playing Helena Bonham Carter's on there and just like all creeped out by him and stuff like that, and they all play themselves.
Right.
You got to watch it, and the greatest piece of comedy, Liam Neeson, and Ricky Gervais, like Liam Neeson wanting to do
improv comedy,
and he's like he makes a list of things, and he's like, that's why Steven Spielberg got me, because I make lists, and like, oh, that's funny. It's like, no, man.
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You got to see it.
Okay, I got to tell this story just because you mentioned Warwick and the little person.
Yes.
I was talking to an AD from a reality show yesterday.
Right.
And he used to be roommates with the guy who drew The Oblongs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that show. It's twisted and wrong. But I guess he's a clown. He never takes his makeup off ever, including at home. That's a weird story. But the weird story was he was having a party one day, and he comes walking into the house, and he's the clown is just drunk off his butt, and there's 30 little people, and they're all dancing high as kites in the living room, just partying down. He's all, why? What's going on here? He goes, well, I wanted to have a party, and I wanted to be the tallest person, so I invited every little person I know in this town, and we had a party. He said, okay, and he turns around and walks out the door. That's just my favorite little person story. That just came to mind because of that.
That's awesome. That is amazing.
I wish I had the clout and the pull to be able to say, I want 30 little people in my house now.
Okay, you're doing the phone gesture.
I'm doing the phone gesture.
Like you could
Like you
call
can
up
see
the
that on
little
podcast.
people rental service.
Exactly.
That's what I like.
Little people hitting each other. That's what I like.
I hate it when you make me like a movie that I don't like.
All right.
No, it's not me.
As in true Codge / PB&Jason fashion, I am switching my number 5 now. Like, well, we've already talked about SNL.
I do ties. You do switches.
Okay. All right.
Somebody's tired.
Yeah. Right. I just thought of this too, because even this is modern day, and even watching this, I felt dirty about this. But so SNL we've already covered. Brilliant. They go after everybody. But if you don't have DC streaming service, you might want to use it for get the monthly subscription so that you can just watch this show in particular. Doom Patrol.
Oh, so
Doom
good.
Patrol. We all know that Marvel can kind of go cross the boundaries and stuff like this. They do a very adult. They're more of the 2 comic book series. They're the more adult. But DC has come up and knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the first couple of episodes, and I'm like, this is DC. Holy crap! It is adult.
Do you know how to download that onto your smart TV?
If you have the code, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you need the code.
Well, you subscribe online, and then they'll give you. You just get the app from.
Because I totally want to get
that.
this.
Don't you think it's funny they call it a smart TV now, and it used to be called the Idiot Box?
But with Doom Patrol, I gotta
Things
say,
to ponder.
I gotta say this about Doom Patrol. Brendan Fraser is back.
Welcome back. Yeah,
big way.
He doesn't necessarily carry the show, but he's a big part of it.
He's a tentpole.
He's a big part of it. The only thing I have to say, the only thing I don't like about it right now was the ending. It was confusing to me. Hopefully they kind of explain a little bit more hopefully if they get season 2. But
hopefully
the ending
they'll
of it was
keep the channel. They're talking
well,
about.
Yeah, that's on the
WB
news,
is kind of
news show. We'll get to that later.
Sweet.
All right. My number 5 is another tentpole point where. What are you laughing at?
If it's on the other show, that would be a completely inappropriate joke, but I can't.
Another bookmark point. For Irreverent TV, and that would be the Norman Lear shows, All in the Family.
Oh, so you're doing
Jefferson's Mod.
five shows in one.
He does a lot lot of mixed.
Well, no, I can't because I really couldn't pick one. They all cover ground. You know, Sanford and Son,
Sacrifices,
Maude,
buddy.
We all wanted to name these.
All in the Family.
I'm just
they're fair.
All in the Family. And then Archie Bunker's Place actually after that, which was
yes, this will be a supplemental episode this year. I promise.
You know, the only thing I can play on piano is the All in the Family thing.
Can you sing?
But talk about the first time to TV racism in that way. The talk of abortion in that way. These controversial, homosexuality in that way.
I remember when Meathead got a vasectomy.
Meathead getting a vasectomy, yes.
It's crazy.
Talk about a guy who, at the time pushed the envelope more than anybody in a brilliant, well-written way. It's the Lear shows.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's starring Marty DeBurgi, right?
My number 4, for all the reasons we said earlier, so we're not going to rehash it a whole bunch, is Monty Python. Mm-hmm. Always brilliant, always relevant. If you're a male, you love it. I don't know why girls don't like it as much.
My wife does not understand that at all.
I don't know if it's something in the genetics.
But you know what? I can watch Monty Python over and over and over.
Yeah,
and over
me too.
And
my
over
wife appreciates it,
but she doesn't love it.
She doesn't love it. No.
Yeah.
Again, but
my wife actually is one of the few people I know that likes it more than me.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She bought basically all our stuff that we have. This Monty Python.
Nice.
She loves it.
Oh, I've got the every episode on. I got about the big DVD.
Oh, nice. My wife has just such a British sense of humor. So that
no one expects a Spanish humor.
No one expects. I was in high school.
You smell like elderberries.
Oh.
You know what you should get Jen for her birthday? A dead parrot.
Oh.
Okay.
Is it me? You?
No, it's me.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. It's your turn.
Oh, Lord.
I apologize.
I want to see you two fight after this, please.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. You know what? Again, the newer ones. Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Because
wow.
If you just don't watch anything but the Night Man Cometh episode, holy crap!
Yeah,
God, Charlie Day is
brilliant.
Oh
yeah,
dude.
He is. I've started to watch Sunny. I've seen a lot of episodes now, and the funny thing about the Night Man Cometh episode, that's not the funniest song.
I know.
The other one.
Are you talking about the Troll Toll or the little boy?
That one.
Oh, dude, it's so awesome.
Now, I have to say this. I'll make sure that this goes on the YouTube by the time this episode drops. We have an Always Sunny that me and Winchester did.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that gets onto the YouTube before this drops. So go over to the YouTube. Listen to that episode because that was a pretty good introduction.
Okay, then if you're gonna go, we even need to go into detail, but that just great writing,
great show.
I think the later episodes they're kind of losing me a little bit.
Oh man, that last episode with the dance was pretty incredible.
Yeah. Not to mention
that
Mac is jacked though. Have you seen?
That's split the audience.
Did you hear the news that they might be going to The Office or taking over The Office? Go check it up on Nerdist.com. Actually, just in a segment that it looks like this. It Always Sunny in Philadelphia cast is they're merging with The Office. I don't know if it's necessarily
a special type
like
thing.
connect
Okay.
if they're just connecting like it's in the same universe and they're connecting the two.
That's a horrid universe. I don't want to live in it, but I want to see Dwight interact with Charlie.
Oh, dude. I want to see Dwight interact with Mac because they're both kind of like have their very.
Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm going in so many ways now.
I think I just blew Dub's mind.
I want to see Jim have to deal with Cricket.
Oh God!
All right, so this one,
and I just want to see Danny DeVito in anything. Dude, I'm sorry. My favorite episode is when they're drinking wine out of the can.
Oh,
and DeVito is just like Frank is just so like just like the drag of humanity. I mean, I like naked Danny comes out of the couch. Oh God.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, let's move
Frank
on.
Reynolds is awesome.
I can't follow that. My number 4 really isn't like dirty or sinful or whatnot, but it's one of my guilty pleasures. I love Big Bang Theory.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sad that it's gone, but I'm
glad it's gone.
It's definitely the old trope of like, go out on a high note. Don't just keep doing more episodes just for the sake of doing more episodes. Like, go on a high note, hit it with a solid ending, and just leave it be. But yeah, I love the cast. I love the characters. The show, love it.
Nice. Another British comedy is my number 4, and that would be The Young Ones, which was a show. It only had one season. Starred Rick Mayall. He would be the most well-known British actor from that, and Nigel Planer, Adrian Edmondson, and I don't remember Mike's last name, but the character Mike. And it was 4 college students who were the most scummy, disgusting, nasty people rooming and living together. And the comedy it's definitely Python-esque in a way, because it gets into the absurd a little bit. And the stories it's really fast comedy, really funny. And then they always have a musical act that plays somewhere in their house, like Madness or The Damned
Motorhead.
or some
Nice.
Motorhead, right? And they end up playing somewhere in the house. So it's an alternate universe of sorts where reality is a little bit off, but it's a really funny show. You've seen it.
My favorite line is like, "Okay, everybody, who likes me?"
That's Rick Mayall.
Oh God.
My favorite character from that was Adrian Edmondson.
Yeah.
Oh, he killed me.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 is the launching pad for probably one of the most successful, creative, and talented actors of our generation. The show was Bosom Buddies, and that actor was Peter Scolari. Deborah Dunning. I mean, there was another guy in that. I don't remember who it was.
Gosh.
He was not Little Movie, I think.
Woody. Cast maybe.
Oh, he was. He was a guy who starred in Mazes and Monsters.
Yes, he was. Bachelor Party.
That's actually funny.
It is.
God, he's
great.
a big star.
Tom Hanks. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah, he's. But Peter Scolari. I feel so bad. His shadow just covered everybody on that show.
But honestly, Peter Scolari did fine. No, I'm not kidding.
he
He
actually
did.
did, yeah.
He did fine.
But
all the residuals.
Yeah. But the original premise of that show with the dragon and all that stuff, it was really well done and so far beyond where anybody had gone at that point. And I don't think they handled the material disrespectfully.
No.
Even under today's highly offended standards, I don't think it was offensive.
No, I agree.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm just changing
Okay.
on the fly here. Because you're talking about
One of us.
I like sketch comedy show. I think the greatest sketch comedy show in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Chappelle Show.
Totally.
Nice.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, God. You know what? I was like just thinking about that. And again, you're talking about ending on a high note. That's what he went out when he needed to go out.
Well, he went out because he was having a mental breakdown, but
what I'm saying, but I think he's having a mental breakdown because he couldn't come up. I mean, how do you sustain that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
He got up. Yeah, he definitely stopped the train before it derailed.
There is not. I would say there's not one stinker of a sketch in that whole that.
And again, like I've said before, and I'll say again, it's the ultimate show to illustrate why you should never get offended at stupid things and laugh at the absurdities of humans and their stereotypes.
But how good was that show written?
Amazing.
I still remember it was a small episode. There was a small segment of the episode, but I think it was like he went to a children's hospital for terminally ill kids, and all the kid wanted to do was like play NBA Jam or NBA basketball video game with him, and he's like, okay, sure, and they start playing, and then it just is competitive, and he just demolishes the kid. And then starts smack talking him.
And then the kid dies, and he's like, "Oh, nurse!" It shocks him back to life, and it's like, "Okay, pick up those sticks now."
Pick it up again. We still got 3 more rounds
to
go.
One of my favorite episodes was Tyrone Bigham's on Fear Factor. I gotta eat that. I can't eat all of that.
All right, number 3. All right. Well, since you're changing on the fly, I'm going to change on the fly. So, my number 3 was the Orville. But that's a little bit more modern day. So I went back a little bit further in time and picked out In Living Color.
Again, another really well written show.
Yes.
Well written show.
Homeboy Shopping Network.
Homie don't play that.
Homie don't play that still.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah.
Right.
Homie don't play that still is kind of like
and launched the career of
Everybody.
how many people?
J-Lo.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Wayans brothers
Perez.
is kind of in their heyday, right? in their heyday were just, I mean,
But
They were
again-
huge.
they were
But again,
massively popular.
again,
7 million Wayans.
Yeah.
But like when you look at Marlon Wayans and Damon Wayans and like the movies that they did, again, well written stuff. I mean,
Except
really-
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
I will not forgive Marlon Wayans for that.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't his fault, but still.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Really well written stuff.
Yeah.
My number 3 would be an older show as well, a skit comedy show in the Carol Burnett Show.
Yep.
Oh.
Which was
The tugging of the ear.
Funny
as can be. Funny that they would break character.
The original Tracy Ullman.
Yeah. And they definitely push some pretty, envelope-y subjects at the time. You ever see the skit where they do the Star Trek parody and they've all turned into women except for Uhura, who turned into a big guy. I mean, it's hysterical. And the whole boob touching in that scene is
jeez.
on TV.
But you know what though? That's almost like when you watch the Carol Burnett Show. It's like a different era because it's like kind of like the same like the roast from back then.
Yeah.
Where they would push it to a point, but they wouldn't step over the line. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
They'd
I'd agree with that.
stand on the line.
They'd absolutely stand on the line.
But they had a definite idea where the
Yes.
line was.
They did.
And they had
Sure.
respect for it.
Yeah, because again, I know we're getting off on the roast, but when you look at the roast nowadays, it's like it's not funny.
No,
it's just not funny.
And unfortunately,
at all.
this year we lost, in my opinion, the funniest person who was ever on television.
Don
Tim
Rickles.
Conway.
Oh,
Tim
yeah.
Conway as well.
Yeah, he was, in my opinion, the funniest person that have.
I
ever
ran
been on.
sound for Rickles. I don't know if I.
Oh, well, yeah.
No, that's a thing. You have to understand that's a big deal.
It doesn't matter what I did.
You. It's number 2.
Oh, number 2 is another one that really was way ahead of its time. Was Three's Company.
Heck yeah.
And it had just all the elements of wow, that's not normal. But that was another one that I remember I was watching, and I probably wasn't supposed to be watching.
I thought that was
Okay,
a
question:
Answer.
Mr. Roper or Mr. Furley?
Oh.
that one's easy.
Furley.
Really?
Roper.
Roper.
I'm talking about the Don Knotts character, right?
That's Furley. Yeah.
Furley.
Yeah. Don Knotts, I thought was.
Oh, he was fine.
It was funny,
Roper-
but Roper, like, they had, like, because Furley was, like, a little bit too, like, kind of like.
Light the loafers?
Yeah, Norman Fell
they
played
would've
that
said.
part just so
So
Looks
well.
like Barney Fife, almost.
Yeah.
But then you saw what happened with the Ropers show, and it was terrible.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people that shouldn't have their own.
Own show. He was
Yeah.
right.
I had to look
Fair
up.
enough.
I had to look up and see if Norman Lear had done Three's Company. He didn't.
Yeah.
All right.
But that was so much like a Lear show that it was awesome. Yeah, totally.
No, but everybody, including all like 6 of the girls that came through there, everybody was great.
Right. Well, and John Ritter kind of.
Oh, John Ritter was
sure.
so
he carried
good.
that show. If John Ritter wasn't in there, if it was a different actor,
wouldn't have happened.
It
wouldn't
probably wouldn't
happen.
have gone as long as it did.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, trade him and Larry.
No.
Oh, that'd been terrible.
Gosh, that's way too many. You know what? I'm actually. Can we do honorable mentions on the second to last one?
Yeah,
Sure.
we always
Yeah,
do.
we will before.
Great.
Have you have not been listening to the show?
I
have
have.
you? It's okay. Neither do I.
I know. Yeah. Once. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Kids in the Hall.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I crush your head.
Yeah. Because South Park was
Chicken.
there.
It's a kid.
South
Chicken
Park was there,
kid.
but I think we discussed South Park. I mean, that's kind of like,
Yeah.
not that it's an honorable mention, but it's almost like Godzilla or King Kong.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So.
Well,
I hear you.
and what South Park did for animation, like
Yeah.
Kids in the Hall, was live action, and
Yeah.
they were getting away with kind of the same.
Granted,
same
it was
material,
kind of
yeah.
HBO though.
Yeah.
But still, it was really funny again, and I keep
And a way to take the Python formula and make it Canadian.
Yeah,
know,
very
very
polite,
Canadian.
very
Yes,
polite.
yes.
But but they were really good at developing characters, and recurring characters. Because the Pythons, like I said, didn't have as many recurring characters as the Chicken Lady.
Right.
Buddy Cole.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so many
yeah,
different.
good
Yeah.
show.
Oh, didn't they have like Lucifer as well? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
wasn't he-
dude, my favorite episode was Bobby versus Lucifer.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a wah-wah pedal. Anyway.
All right, so my number two, kind of in the light of South Park and The Simpsons, one of my personal favorites is Family Guy. Family Guy / American Dad. Just the whole Seth MacFarlane kind of section of like, well, because I mean, it's with American Dad, it was like when it started out, it was kind of a spoof on conservatism, like with the Colbert Report used to be. So I was kind of into that type of thing. So but as it's gone on through the seasons, it's kind of gotten away from that, and now it's just more of just like an uptight dad that that's in the CIA. But to me, I like the comedy tropes that they put in there of like the flashbacks and whatnot, and the movie was funny as well too. It's had its ups and downs, like like the season where they tried to push the envelope, and I think they went way too far,
Right.
and maybe killing Brian. Yeah, I didn't like that either. Yeah, it was. They've had their misses, but they've had some really good episodes as well.
Were you gonna say something?
No, I was going to say, I think I like Seth MacFarlane. Like Ted was a really, really funny movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not so, like I said, not a huge fan, but Irreverent, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
All right, so my number two, I'm going to do a PB&Jason move here. I'm going to actually make a tie. I had one down, but I'm going to add one. So the one that I wrote down was The Muppet Show.
Fair enough.
Okay, which was had a different way of being irreverent. And what it did was, okay, so you were familiar with them from Sesame Street, okay? And they were a certain way.
Who?
The Muppets. Yeah, shut up. And Kermit going, and then a new set of Muppets that were a bit more wacky and adulty and such. And the tie in this case would be the Larry Sanders Show.
Starring
Gary Shandling. Where if you could go behind the scenes of a Letterman type show, what in a very crazy way, what would it be like? And such a brilliant cast. I can't remember the actor's name that played Hey Now.
Oh,
It's
Jeffrey
escaping-
Tambor.
Jeffrey Tambor, who is a brilliant actor.
How did I know that?
Because you're awesome.
No,
So yeah, amazing shows.
Nice.
Both of those.
Okay, so we're going to do if you have any honorable mentions, this is when you can say it. No explanation allowed. You say your list as fast as you can.
K-Brew.
K-Brew. So let's start with K-Brew, who seems to have 1.5 million honorable
A bit of an
mentions.
explanation for mine.
Okay, SCTV, Benny Hill, Jackass, and I'm going to say South Park.
Fair enough.
All right, so it's a little bit of a definition, but I'll make it quick. This is for Katie. Torchwood.
Okay.
Because it's like, what if Doctor Who was kind of an adult theme, kind of a
The Sex Monster was the first
Sex
episode.
Monster, yeah, it's like, so yeah, there you go, Katie.
Talk about a dark show. Oh my
Torchwood.
goodness.
What channel is that on? I heard adult themed.
It's the one right after Cinemax.
Oh,
Netflix now.
We've kind of talked about all the ones on my honorable, so I'm only going to really say one that didn't get mentioned, and that would be Beavis and Butthead. Which again, that one was the one right after The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And it pushed that envelope. Mike Judge, who was a prophet as far as I'm concerned, that one.
yeah. Mike Judge is actually very quotable.
Nice.
Yeah.
And to build off that, my only honorable I'll give would be, because you said that, made me think of it, and that would be King of the Hill.
Sure.
Okay, so my number one, no explanation needed, Simpsons. Duh. I think that'd be everybody's number one.
But that's kind of like a King Kong.
It is.
Yeah.
But I took it.
Yeah. Low-hanging fruit.
I wrote this script. I can do that.
Sweet. That's how Jason is. So why The Simpsons, though? What is it about The Simpsons?
The Simpsons, because they've really transcended more than one generation.
Dope.
It feels like TV would not be TV if it wasn't on anymore. Yes, the shows aren't as good as they used to be, but I will still watch every episode.
But they're still entertaining.
They're still
They're still entertaining.
TV would not be TV if Simpsons was not on.
And how can you not, be in
Love every character.
be in awe of a show that
has done everything.
came out when we were in puberty and is
Before.
still, before.
You came in '89. I graduated from high school.
And I've always wondered what would happen to me if I actually was in a coma for 30 years. So that's fine.
Right.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, an amazing show.
Oh,
It's true, people.
I love Mo.
I love Krusty.
No, Mo. Like I love the.
Are you going to talk about your underwear again? Okay, go ahead. What's your number one, sir?
You know what? My number one right now is Rick and Morty.
Outstanding.
Nothing irreverent in that show.
God.
So over the line, but so well written. That
So,
you're like,
that's
you
what
know
I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Absolutely. It's like it's so. It justifies itself. I think that's what I'm looking for. Is like a show that justifies, and that's maybe what the problem that I have, like maybe with Family Guy in a little bit,
Right.
is that it doesn't justify the sketch. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like really well written. Everything kind of goes back, and there's like a consistency with everything in that show. Like you'll see stuff that happened in episode 1, like to the house, that'll still be there in episode,
Right.
in like the 3rd season. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So.
Nice.
My number one, speaking of Jeffrey Tambor, Arrested Development.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
Fantastic show.
Such a well written, just the Bluth family and just how just utterly just amoral horrible this family is, but you see them and it's just
Even
so
the
well
moral
written.
center is
It's
horrible.
and just with oh god, I can't think of his name now. I'm tired. That one kid.
Jason Bateman.
Pilgrim?
Yeah, Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman. Yeah, so that he is like the linchpin. He is the moral center of this entire
And he's still
family.
horrible.
It's to a certain extent. I mean, he gets his day every so often, but
he sleeps
everybody
with his
else
son's
is just so out there and wacky that you see him and it's like, oh, yeah, he's a
guy.
He's a schoolboy. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Nice. Mentioned at the top of the show, my number one is Soap. No doubt about it.
Soap.
The show that gave us Here Are the Tates, Here Are the Campbells, gave us Billy Crystal, the blatant homosexual, one of the first times that was on TV, gave us Benson,
Nice.
Right.
Tackled it was spoof on soap operas. So it kind of traveled like a soap opera through crazy story after crazy story, murder mystery, devil baby possession, all this crazy stuff. And it didn't end. It ended on a real cliffhanger. But, and Catherine Helmond at the time was
The original MILF.
the original MILF. Absolutely.
I've heard this so many times.
No doubt about it. The original MILF.
I still think of her as Mona. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ew.
No,
Yeah.
you just look at her in Soap. Oh
I don't
my
think I
goodness.
Yes.
But Soap and Richard Mulligan, who was my favorite character out of Soap.
How did I miss our?
Can I do one? Can I do one more?
Go ahead.
Because Arrested Development led me to David Cross, led me to Mr. Show.
Oh yeah. Which Tenacious D.
Yeah.
It's
And-
one of my favorite bands.
And Better Call Saul.
Yep.
Nice. And I'm cutting you off. This was a show. Check out the Facebook. Answer our polls. Do all that fun stuff. Talk to us. We'll talk back. Go to the Twitter at iHeartGeekShow. Go to the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the code we paid extra for it. Now you can go to the YouTube and you can see all
Go
our
to the
old
YouTube.
stuff.
Subscribe at the YouTube.
Like and
Like
subscribe.
the YouTube.
All of them.
Like 'em
Comment
all?
on the YouTube.
That's what, the kids were doing that.
Make
Go
sure
to the
you give those thumbs up.
Instagram.
The,
Kids today?
The,
Yeah.
the Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, do all that fun stuff.
Kids go and watch on the YouTube video games of people playing video games.
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
and now
Yep.
that we're old,
I do.
I'm Dub.
I'm K-Brew.
I'm Kaj.
I'm PB&Jason.
Keep on geeking on.
And on and on and on and
And
on.
on and on.
There's that delay.
Irreverent.
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.